point, I'm unafraid to speak the truth. This is just data-driven and experience-driven.
What do you make of Washington's gerontocracy?
Well, and that's exactly what it is. We've seen for the past 4 years the Democrat Party being led by a president who is cognitively declining. Before our very eyes, the Democrat Party had to virtually force him off the ballot to get him to leave.
It is a bipartisan affliction, though. You just had a Texas congresswoman that I don't need to tell you. She had disappeared for 6 months, and it turned out she was like in a nursing home because she has maybe dementia.
And I think that's a huge, huge problem. Young people have seen this country run by an older and older and older generation. And what have we experienced? We've experienced a housing crisis where it's difficult whenever you're graduating high school or graduating college to find affordable housing. We've seen our jobs being taken away from illegal aliens who are coming in, wages depressed because of our open borders. We've seen Democrats wanting to tax working class Americans to pay for welfare benefits for illegal aliens. We've seen the Democrat Party embrace censorship, side with Hamas terrorists over Israeli citizens. I mean, young people have seen the Democrat Party drive this country off of a cliff, and that's why they're moving faster and faster and faster to the Republican Party.
Carrell, I love that guy. Is that a new guy? I hadn't even heard of him. Representative Gill from Texas. I like guys that just tell the truth, straight talkers. Here's what I love about that guy, that Jennings. Is Jennings from CNN? I can't remember. I don't really follow them hardly at all. Isn't it funny how he talks about, Gill talks about how demented mentally, Alzheimer's, dementia, whatever the hell it is that Biden's got. And his response to the Congressman Gill is, well, your side's bad too. Well, your side's bad. Can we acknowledge that you guys have been lying for 4 years about Biden being intelligent and being all there? I mean, can you acknowledge that part? That Texas woman's name is Granger. She is in a memory loss facility. Yes, that very much infuriates me. I can't stand the fact that my party Speaker Johnson knew that she's been in a memory care facility for 6 months. She hasn't showed up to work for 6 months. Could you imagine you just don't show up for 6 months and you keep getting paid and no one says anything? No one. That's called fraud. There's about a dozen staffers that work for a Congresswoman Granger. They were all getting paid illegally because they weren't doing any work. You were hiding basically a crime. The person that was representing whatever district that is in Texas had no representation because that person is suffering Alzheimer's and dementia in a nursing home. There's a picture, I don't have it with me, I just saw it before I came on, and Nancy Pelosi today, when they're certifying the election, is in a walker, using a walker. She's 80-something years old. She broke her hip. Mitch McConnell, a picture came out with him. He's on some kind of contraption, not a wheelchair. It's some kind of like air hovering chair or something, and they push him around. He has no idea what he's got him strapped into his chair. He looks like he's going on some kind of Disney ride. Why do we have people in their 80s running our country? Look, if they're sharp as nails, sharp as a tack, like Donald Trump, I never look at Donald Trump and go, wow, that guy's old. I look at Donald Trump and I think, that guy looks like he's like in his early 60s. I mean, he's in his go. Yeah, okay, Logan just pulled up. Thank you, Logan. This is the man that has the most power in the Senate. It's not John Thune. Come on. John Thune, I'm going to pull John Thune up here in a minute. He is like a piece of petrified wood. That's when you look at him, you're like, damn, that guy's boring. But at least he's alive. McConnell, think about how narcissistic you are. Think about it. Let's just stop and let's be honest. How narcissistic do you have to be to cling to power all the way up to your dying breath, a la Feinstein? Thurm Marshall. Is it Thurm Marshall? Who's the racist? Who's the Grand Kleagle that everyone loves in the Democratic Party? Strom Thurmond. Was it Strom Thurmond? No, that's the judge. I forget it. He's from West Virginia. He's like 900 years old. Like he was a little older than Moses. They used to wheel him in. He was not just a Klansman. Like my dad was a Klansman. My grandpa was a Klansman. So I was kind of like brought into the Klan, and then I kind of got out of it once I realized that they're a bunch of racist, horrific people. No, this was the grand poobah of the Ku Klux Klan, Democrat Party. We're such an ignorant country. We have no idea about our history. None. We have old men running our country, have no idea where they're at, what they're doing. So who's running our country? Maybe that's the biggest question. Who's running our country? Yeah, there she is. Nancy Pelosi. Nancy the hip Pelosi. Her dentures are falling out. She sucks them in every time she's interviewing. Her hands are so arthritic, they're like, she puts her, like if you asked her, hey, which way do I go? And she puts her hand up, her fingers are in all different directions. She broke her hip. She sounds like she's drunk 90% of the time. But this past year, she had twice the rate of success in the stock market than Warren Buffett. Nancy Pelosi had an interest rate or a rate of profit of 63%. Do you know that 5% is considered great? Like you can live off that. Like if you have $1 million and you had 5% a year, you make $50,000. That's the kind of like the threshold for retirement. She's making 63%. So instead of making 5% on $1 million at $50,000, she made $630,000 off of $1 million investment year over year. Her husband, who likes to, I would say, kinky sexual perversions, but they live in San Francisco, so I think it's kind of mundane. He likes to do role playing with Canadian illegal aliens and try to hit each other with hammers and then make us all believe that Paul Pelosi, with all the security, some random dude just ends up naked in his underwear with Paul Pelosi in his underwear in his living room. Okay. At the same time, I'm supposed to believe that same guy, Paul Pelosi, that's never been in finance, is not a stock market guru, has beat Warren Buffett year over year over year for 20 years. But I digress. Because we're talking about who's running our country. And going from why I'm pulling Thune up after we just saw Mr. Gill, Representative Gill. When you look at Gill, he seems young, right? Youthful, has energy about him. Now, I don't know what he's going to turn out to be. Is he going to turn out to be Ben Crenshaw or someone else like that? Hell, I don't know. I'm just saying right now, just looking at this guy straight, he's saying all the right things, which they all do, but he has some energy. He doesn't look like he's going to die. He hasn't been inside the beast for 40 years. Well, let's look at someone that has been inside the beast for decades, John Thune, a piece of petrified wood. Now, we just listened to Gill. Now, let's listen to John Thune. And tell me, do you feel that MAGA enthusiasm? Do you feel like, man, I am so ready for MAGA Republicans to get in office? I can't wait. And John Thune steps in.
Talk about the Republicans' agenda. Yeah. When I spoke with President-elect Donald Trump, he said that his mass deportation plan was his top priority. He wants to deport everyone who is here illegally. Do you support that plan to deport everyone who is here illegally?
Well, I think there are certainly there are categories, people who have committed crimes. There are over 1 million people that the current administration had targeted for deportation. And so I think that we have to take
Logan,
seriously
can you give me the
fact
on?
that there are a lot of people in this country today, over 10 million, who've come in just in the last 4 years under this administration's policies, many of whom are not here for good reasons. I mean, we know we've apprehended almost 300 people at the southern border. They're on the terrorist watch list. And you've got criminals and cartel members and gang members and all of the above. So I think that as we think about what those next steps are, the first thing is securing that border and making sure that we change the incentive structure so that people are incentivized to come here illegally, which they have been for the past 4 years, and that we do everything to ensure that the border personnel, the ICE agents and border agents have the resources that they need to do their job. Now, some of that means physical barriers, some of it means technological barriers, et cetera. And those are all going to require resources, and then some is going to require deportation of certain people who are here illegally.
Okay. Donald Trump goes and gives a impromptu speech at some giant tent fairground, 30,000 people, roaring. Do you think 2 people would show up to listen to this guy talk? The answer is no. I was in a room once with Thune as he gave a speech, and I sat there in absolute amazement. Absolute amazement, because I was sitting there in South Dakota, and I listened to this man talk for 10 minutes in a room filled of patriots. It was a Republican kind of fundraiser, and he came in just to give a speech for like 5 minutes. So it wasn't for him, it was for like the GOP. In a room full, I would say about 100 people, all enthusiastic, GOP, Republican. We have to, energy. And in walks the totem pole, John Thune. And I listened to him give a speech where if I walked in there, I would have that room roaring, dude, roaring. Brings it down to part of the level where you either want to stab yourself in the eye with a pencil or you want to grab a MyPillow from Mike Lindell. Swear to you. And I listened to him speak for, it was about 7 minutes. And about minute 4, I realized, dear gosh, this man hasn't said anything. He strung words together, but he said nothing. 7 minutes in, and he ended, and everybody's kind of like somebody just made a putt at a golf tournament. It's kind of like, let's clap. That was nice. And I thought, that man didn't say anything for 7 minutes. 7 solid minutes. That's a long time to talk and say nothing. Nothing. You go from Congressman Gill, Donald Trump type people, Tom Homan, Stephen Miller, to this guy? This guy can't even answer a question? He's listening to this bimbo from NBC that's already been discredited so many times we can't even count. We just lost count. How about just say the truth? Yes, we're going to try to deport every single person here illegally. Why is that a problem to you, ma'am? Why would you want anyone here that has broken our law, ma'am? I would just turn the tables. I would turn them so fast that she'd be spinning. Her head would be spinning. And I would answer the question and then ask the question right back. What's wrong with that? Why do you want to harbor illegal aliens? Why do you want to conceal them? Do you know that's against the law, ma'am? Tell me, what benefit do you get by having illegal aliens in our country? But this man has taken over for Mitch McConnell. I can't stand Mitch McConnell. I haven't liked that man for a long, long time. He never seemed right to me. None of these people seem right to me. They're either so grotesquely stupid, my Lord, have mercy on me. But the politicians I've been around, congressional hearing I did, and just meeting them, I'm gonna paraphrase Marjorie Taylor Greene. First year coming in office, reporter catches her outside the Hill and asks her, well, what do you think now that you've met everybody? And she says, I'm not impressed. That was absolutely perfect. I'm not impressed. I'm writing my next book called Invaded. I'm literally about maybe 10 days away from having it complete, kind of going over it again, one more turn before I send it to my editor. And before I came on, I was doing a chapter on my congressional testimony. And I had to go back and listen to the morons, the congressional morons that were questioning me. Holy mother of God. I have an illegal alien question my experience on the border. I mean, she should know. She crossed the border illegally with her mother. She was in her mother's womb. But I have a Guatemalan national, illegal alien national, criticizing me. I have to her left some black woman wearing the most ridiculous glasses I've ever seen. They were like clown glasses. Like literally the kind of glasses you go to State Fair and you knock down a bottle and there's a Tweety bird. You decide on the yellow Tweety bird or those gigantic yellow glasses. Yeah, I'll take those yellow glasses. That's what a congresswoman should wear. Then next to her was some beta male from, I think, Michigan that just went on and on about togetherness and kumbaya and blah, blah, blah. And then next to him was another African-American woman, or as I like to say, a black woman, as I would say to a white woman. And I don't even know this lady's name. I couldn't see it because her nameplate, I still can't figure out who she is. And I don't really care to anyway. But she's wearing a very tight-fitting leopard skin suit, and she asks us a question. And I remember looking at that whole side, the whole left side of the dais, and thinking, are these the dumbest people I've ever spoken to? Then I looked over to the milquetoast honkies on our side, old men, and I thought, who the hell is representing me? These guys aren't. These guys absolutely are not representing me. Our government is in a free fall. The only hope is Donald Trump. Swear to you. So think about Gil. Now think about that beta John Thune. And then let's bring Alpha in. Let's bring Tom Homan back. I always love hearing a quote from him, hearing a clip from him. At least that allows me to feel more like a man in this world. Please play Tom Homan.
And you said that everyone, though, is on the table if they are here in the country illegally. As you know, there's a lot of mixed status households in the United States. Do you plan to take both parents into custody if there are minor children in the house?
If you're in the country illegally and you got to order deportation, we're going to arrest you, we're going to detain you, we're going to remove you. If they have a U.S. citizen child, if they chose after they come to the country illegally and chose after been ordered removed to have a U.S. citizen child, and think, okay, the court order doesn't mean anything anymore, the removal order doesn't mean anything anymore, then what kind of message we send to the whole world? Go ahead and cross the border illegally, which is a crime, ignore a judge's order of deportation, but have a baby, and you're fine. If we do that, then shut down the immigration court because the orders don't mean anything anymore, and take the border patrol off the border. We can't send a message to the whole world that you can violate laws of this country and not leave as required by a judge and have a U.S. citizen child, you're okay. That child can stay, they can stay with a relative, they can stay with the other parent, or they can take them with them. We don't deport U.S. citizens, but they put themselves in the position. We didn't.
Some good hard truth, and unafraid to say it. Think about John Thune. Did you believe anything he said? Did he sound convincing to you? As if that would be a priority to him? Now, when you listen to Tom Homan, that's a priority. This guy's, Tom Homan, I bet you, knowing him, the little that I do, but knowing he's a former Border Patrol agent, ICE, thinks like, he and I think alike. I bet you he's more fearful of failure than success. I bet you what drives him is him waking up and thinking, I'm not doing enough. I'm not going to be successful enough. at getting these people deported. That's what I think he's thinking. So we go from someone that is young and energetic to a piece of wood, and then Tom Homan. Then I have to show you this man, and I captured this video so you'll see it, subtitles in Spanish. It's the Hispanic Breitbart, I think it is. Heck, I don't know. No, Gateway Hispanic. Excuse me, Gateway Hispanic. Now let's listen to this gentleman. And while he's speaking, I want you to honestly ask yourself repeatedly, do I trust anything this man's saying at all?
In this Congress will renounce the status quo, and we will listen to the voices of the people. We will act quickly, and we will start by defending our nation's borders. That's the number one priority. Yes. In coordination with President Trump, this Congress will give our border and immigration enforcement agents the resources that they need to do their job. We will secure the border, we will deport dangerous, criminal, illegal aliens, and finally finish building the border wall.
You trust him? I don't. I'll just be honest. I don't trust Speaker Johnson. Are you insane? This is the same guy that funded the NGOs to the point of $7.9 billion after already being told multiple times that the NGOs are trafficking children. Don't worry. We'll fund it. The only thing that has changed, the only thing in this equation has changed is Donald Trump. What do you think, or do you think Donald Trump is going to be able to overcome the internal fighting and backstabbing and treason within his own party? I don't trust that guy. I don't trust that guy at all. What I do trust is mypillow.com. After I watched this video clip of John Thune, I actually fell asleep in my research, and I woke up 30 minutes later in this interview, and he still hadn't said anything. So I just said, screw it, I'm going to take another nap. Grabbed my son's pillow, laid down in my office, took a nap. MyPillow.com, used promo code JJ Carrell. Love Mike Lindell. He is a patriot, a super patriot, created a business. Americans make the product. I love the product. Our house is filled with those products. And Mike Lindell has an amazing story. That right there is worth it all. A great story. But as you watch these people and you listen to them and when you watch it, you're knowing, you can feel the stupidity, the incompetence, the arrogance. But you can also feel the chaos. And that's why you need to be diversified financially. I'm starting to diversify because my retirement, the bulk of my income comes from my pension in the United States Border Patrol, the federal government. My 401k is tied to the insane stock market. Now you want to talk about not trusting some people? Not trusting where your money's going to come from that's supposed to sustain you for the next 30 years from those den of thieves? You need to diversify. You need to go to Swiss Precious Metals. Swiss America Precious Metals. Swiss America Precious Metals. Ask for Wes Peters. The number's on the screen. Why I like Wes? He just shoots you straight. There's no upselling. There's no, hey, you need to buy $17 million of gold bars. I'm going to hold those gold bars for you. I don't want to worry you or have to pay shipping and handle. I'll hold them. But let's just buy as much as you can. Buy. No, that's not what he does. You call him, you text him, he sends you information, you guys set up a time to talk. Then if you need it and you believe it works, then you get it. If not, you go on your merry way. I use everything I promote. Taking a deep breath because I have to go into the next segment, which I'm passionate about, but it's sickening. And that is the debate of the insane, evil left and their culture of death, culture of murder. And it revolves around euthanasia and abortion. Imagine your side. Imagine if you didn't know, let's say you just came out from space, outer space, you drop down here in one of those drones that are flying around New Jersey, and and you're truly an alien, not an illegal alien, just an alien from Mars. And you plop down from outer space, and they say, hey, I want to know, like, what you guys have politics up in Mars or Jupiter or in the solar system, far, far away. We have like a political parties. What party do you have here? And I said, well, we have two parties. One is going to be about freedom and opportunity. We love children. As you get older, we believe that you should take care of your family and the elders. And he's like, wow, that sounds great. No. Don't make your choice yet. Okay, don't make your choice yet because we have another party. You really, I want to be fair. Now, we believe in this party that we kill our babies. And that you can see the alien kind of flinch, like, what? Oh, yeah. You kill the babies, but if that baby somehow is able to pop out of the womb and run away and not get killed, when it gets older, we like to kill them too. And he's already like, no, I don't want to be, no, I'm not done yet, please. It gets better. We love, here on earth we have two sexes, but we love to take people and mutilate their bodies and make them Frankensteins, monsters. And then those people, 19 times more than normal, will stick a gun in their mouth and blow their heads off. I'm looking at the alien. The alien is completely like, I don't even know if I want to be on this planet anymore. In fact, he's like, I'm out. He just takes off. I can't stay around here. That's how I feel sometimes. I'm Catholic. I'm going to talk about a daily conflict that I have. I believe in my faith. Don't question it at all. Not one bit. Have arguments with people. Don't matter. Jesus Christ is God's Son, died on the cross. I believe in the Catholic doctrines, blah, 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 on and on. But I do not have any faith in my Pope and the people that he has around him. None, zero, none. And I stumbled across this clip of a Catholic priest. And it's like God put him in my algorithm so I could have some hope. I have a very good priest here in Kansas City. I've had a lot of great priests, and I've had some really rotten, pedophile, deviant, sexual monsters as well. And I've had beta males that have no idea about life. But one thing that I can never get is somebody to just say the truth. And this is not just in the Catholic faith. This is the Baptists, Protestants. I can go down the line. Lutherans. And this is the problem. We have no one that speaks the truth. No one speaks the God-honest truth. And here's the irony of all ironies. All of these preachers and priests and everyone in between, you know what their greatest fear is? Their greatest fear are there are no butts in the seats. So they can't get money. And the irony of all ironies is if they just spoke the truth, just said it, this is what the Bible says, this is what you have to do. If you do not do this, you're going to hell, and these are the people you cannot be aligned with. If they said that, if a priest just said that, would there be people that get up and walk out of the church? Yes, there would be. But at the same time, there would be people storming to get in. You would have standing room only for your church services. Standing room only. Because you know why? Because people want to hear the truth. And they have not heard the truth for decades. They've heard these half-assed lies about Jesus being this hippie freak, transgender dude floating around, that everything's fine. We've been taught that God, the 10 Commandments are really his suggestions. And that is why when you go to church, you can have a whole pew to yourself. You can stretch out. You can lay down if you want. You want to sip your coffee? You have a little place to put it there because there's no one there. Why? Because no one wants to be told half-truths and lies by people that are trying to present themselves as intellectually superior than us. I want to listen to a guy that knows the Bible better than me. That's a theologian. But I can understand what the truth is. Let me tell you how piercing lies are, as well as how, as Pet Club 24/7, Kristen says, frequency, truth is on a different frequency. Lies are too. I remember 3 or 4 months ago, priest is talking about the Pope during his homily, and my son leans over to me, and he whispers in my ear, he says, "Dad, I don't believe any of that. That's not true." I looked at my son. I said, "We'll talk about this after church, but you are right." He was 12 years old at that time. He instinctively knew what he was hearing was a lie. And when it comes to Democrats and the culture of death and murder and destruction, sexual perversion and deviancy, this priest says it concisely and in your face. And this is what needs to be taught every single Sunday, every single day that these men speak God's, because they are God's mouthpiece, and they better start speaking God's word, or because God will have a special place to send them, more painful than the hell that I should go to, because they are their mouthpiece of God. Logan, play this guy. I love this guy. If I find out where he is, I'm going to move. So just go to church where he preaches.
You cannot be a practicing Catholic and be part of the current Democratic Party knowing that this group is actively working for the killing of the unborn. You cannot be part of a group or an association that's focus is to bring about moral evils. This is why for centuries, the Catholic Church has made it very clear that you cannot be a Freemason, because there are foundational principles of the Freemasons that are contrary to the Catholic faith. You cannot be part of something which is essential to it, moral evils, because you cannot be part of something and not support what is essential to it, picking and choosing what you want, what you like, and you have a moral obligation.
It's truth. Isn't it? Doesn't it feel good to hear the truth? Like, you don't have to like it, but there is something almost spiritual about hearing the truth. It just makes you feel good, because especially in a world of lies that we live in today, from politics to media to the grotesque Golden Globes in Hollywood last night, to sports, to our own religion, medical field, education, finances. Gosh almighty, I can go on and on and on. So when you hear truth, it really, really stands out in today's world. I mean, it stands out. It is like a red beacon flashing. You can't miss it. But evil is not contained here in the United States of America. It is all over the West. And in the celebration of the world's greatest beta male, Prime Minister Trudeau, who resigned today in Canada, I want you to listen to this woman talk about the euthanasia, not only in America, in California, but in Canada. And again, would you blame an alien coming from wherever to just say, the hell with this place? I'm out of here. Listen to this lady.
I'm going to give you one stat to prove my point. Just one.
Go ahead.
It takes one. This is how ridiculous this is. Okay, you ready? In 2016, Canada legalized medical assistance in dying. So did California. California has the same population as the entire country of Canada. Okay. In that time frame, California has only mated, meaning assisted suicide, 893 people. How many do you think Canada has?
I'm going to assume it's ridiculously high.
Give me a number. Come on, play with me here.
12,652.
Over 50,000.
Holy smokes.
Canada is a predatory behavior. They're trying to include children down to the age of 12, mentally ill, homeless, and addicts, instead of giving them palliative care.
What do you say to that? You have to pick a job. You have to pick a side. Fence straddling is no more an option. It's not. It's not. If you want to fence straddle now, to your detriment. But in terms of God and heaven and hell, I don't think it's ever been more clear than it is today that if you sit on that fence post, you are as good as guilty of the other side. I believe that. God hates milquetoast. He hates that lukewarm water. You either be hot or cold, man. I think God has more respect for those lunatics that are killing his children than with these other side that would just sit there and say, well, I don't want to get involved. It's not my problem. I want to go to the beach today. I think he has a little more disdain for them. I really do. Trudeau. Could that be a more beta dude where Donald Trump keeps calling him governor? He doesn't have the decency just or the courage to tell Donald Trump to F off. I mean, that's what I would do. I would say, hey, Orange Man, go pound sand. You're not going to embarrass me. Shut up. Shut your mouth. That's how I would talk. But no, what does beta male do? He flies down to Mar-a-Lago and grovels to him. His firing or resignation couldn't happen to a better person. Just couldn't. But let's go to a beacon of inspiration, a place where some of the ugliest people on planet Earth, some not physically ugly, majority of them are, but just internally ugly. Gosh almighty, are they ugly? And of course, I'm talking about The View. And they have an actress, someone that regurgitates lines that they remembered from a script and acts them out, thus an actor. And when did they become in positions of authority in our country? And to listen to any of them speak about anything except acting is nauseating. But here's Anne Hathaway talking about the virtues of abortion, aka murdering your child. I love this. This is great wisdom.
Without going into too many details, my own personal experience with abortion, and I don't think we talk about this enough, abortion can be another word for mercy. We don't know. We don't know. It's not a world in which we know that no two pregnancies are alike, and it
mercy. I do. I think God, I really do believe God wants abortion because it's mercy. Absolutely. You know what, Anne Hathaway? You've changed my mind. You are such a deep intellectual thinker. You're like an amazing theologian. I think all the priests and pastors and rabbis in the world should come to you and flock to you to hear you speak about mercy. I wonder if that mercy includes the moment the child in the womb gets these claws connecting to their arms and rips them off with no pain medicine, or their legs, or crushes their chest, and then ultimately crushes their head and pulls them out of the womb. Could that be mercy? Is that the kind of mercy she's talking about? These women are grotesque. Grotesque. How should we speak to these people? I think this next clip is absolutely how you should speak. You should give no quarter. You should rail against them intellectually as fast and hard as you can with facts, and then you mock them. And you show them to be as stupid as they are, as immoral and as evil as they are. Watch how this guy plays this. It's perfect.
I'm a little bit more educated than you think.
Let's do it. When does life begin? When does life begin?
I'm an atheist, sorry. I don't talk about...
But you just said you're educated on it. So when does life begin? Secular. You don't have to be a Christian. When does life begin? You can search it up right now, all you guys. When does life begin scientifically? It says fertilization. I thought you'd know that if you studied this, man. Like, come on.
When you were born, life. Yeah.
When you were born, life. So this is very important, guys. If I'm a murderer and I pregnant woman, I get charged with double homicide. But it's when you're born. He just said it's when you're born, though, right? How come? Why is that? That's a good point. I'll change your mind.
That's how we have to talk to people. Why would you talk to people in very civil tones? I'm not talking about just screaming at people, walking in like you're a leftist, screaming at people and with purple hair, and you got purple hair and nose rings, you're screaming at people. No, but when someone engages you in conversation about a certain topic, you do not need to be civil in the tone of, I have to acquiesce. See, when conservatives think of civility, we don't think of speaking politely, being kind and understanding. No, we think of civility as we need to bend a knee to the adversary. No, that's not what I mean when I say civility. When I say civility, I mean that you keep your tone, even tone. You don't have to scream, you don't have to yell. Get your point across, but don't ever, ever, ever bend a knee to sick mental patients. No. And then when you do get them on the intellectual ropes, you do not give them an out. You pummel them like a prize fighter in the 15th round. You just keep punching, 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 and punching until you knock them out. I believe that. Because what is the alternative? Well, the alternative is what we're living in. Over 60 million abortions. Number one consumer of child pornography in the world. Number one producer of pornography, exporting it in the world. One of the top nations on planet Earth that consumes both narcotics and pays money to have sex with children. We mutilate our children's bodies, destroying them completely destroying their lives. We have transgender men touching, pedophilia, reading, teaching our children to be sexually confused and gender insanity. I mean, I can go on and on and on. That's what we're living in. Why are we living in that? We're living in this world because men like us remain silent. Women like you remain silent. Instead of saying, hey, no, you're wrong. In fact, I'm going to say something that might offend you, but it's okay, but I have to say it anyway. You're evil, and you will go to hell. Don't tell me about how God doesn't want me to judge. How do I look at someone that murders babies, somebody that murders people with Down syndrome, children, mutilates children, and I'm supposed to not judge them? Do I pray that they go to heaven, that they repent like I want mercy? Of course. But I'm not going to sit here and say what you're doing, you're murdering people, you're destroying people's lives, that I'm not going to judge you. We have been taught a lie in religion, a complete and utter lie, and that's why no one goes to church. That's why over 50% of Americans do not have any affiliation with any religion or faith. None. Why? Because we've been pushed them away, because we told them lies. I want you to see this video. This video is about 30, 40 seconds. And it is a woman. I've seen this video where they're like, well, they don't, the left keeps saying, well, that we don't have abortions at the 9th month. We don't do that. That's insanity. We would never do that. Well, no, you do that. You do late-term abortions all the time. It's normal. And this woman calls and asks for this abortion. And they overlay that conversation with this absolutely gorgeous baby at 34 weeks. And if you've ever been a parent, If you've been an aunt or uncle, or you're a brother or sister and you see your mother give birth and you have a new brother or sister. How could anyone harm these innocent little beings? How? Unless you are so evil. And if we don't start talking in these terms, we become complicit and we begin to live in a world filled with evil, which is the world we live in now. Look at this little baby. You just want to kiss him or her. I don't know what sex it is. Don't worry. I don't want to assign sex. We'll allow the savages with purple hair in our schools to mutilate this child in about 5 or 6 years.
Can I help you? I am looking to have an abortion. How far along are you? I'm 34 right now. I am in a pretty desperate situation. My boyfriend is kind of out of the picture now, so I don't really have any support.
An abortion at any stage is actually much safer than delivering a term pregnancy. It's a 4 to 5 day procedure. We do some basic lab work on you and start to dilate your cervix. After that, we do what we call the fetal injection. A needle is inserted through the abdomen and into the fetal heart where lidocaine is injected, and that will completely numb the fetus so there's no pain. And then after that, we inject a medication called digoxin and another medication called KCL into the fetal heart, which will slow and then stop the fetal heartbeat. And then on
Killing that baby is not evil? Killing that baby is not evil. Is that what you're telling me? That baby comes through the vaginal canal and they shunt its head and kill it. That's not evil. Killing that baby is not evil. Go ahead. Explain it to me. I'm waiting. $60 million that we know about in America, not over the world. 60 million. One of our sponsors is Pet Club 24/7. Pet Club 24/7. You can go to truthwithjj247.com. I have it with me. I take it. There's a blizzard right now in Kansas City where I live. Freezing cold. I would be sick right now. I just know it. My immune system is so garbage right now because of having to take remdesivir, having COVID twice, being around third world country people for decades and being sick every single year because my immune system is garbage. Haven't been sick this year. Do you know the only thing that I have done differently? Because I am a creature of habit. I do the same thing every day. I eat the same kind of foods. I eat the same thing. I have the same routine. That's just how I built. I function better in it. In that world, in a very structured world. I love it. Where there's order, where there's law, where there's expectations. I thrive in it. The only thing different is I've taken this product, which is a mushroom, a natural mushroom from Japan, that Kristen and Kurt from 24/7, petclub247.com, put it in a capsule form, and I take it every day before I come on this show. Not sick. Unbelievable. It is about 5 degrees out. I was out there shoveling snow today. Not sick. Not even close. My dog, Cinnamon. I know that's the name of my dog, Cinnamon. I don't give her pet food treats anymore. They're like plastic. I give her Mojos from Pet Club 24/7. It is the first time I ever was introduced to Kurt and Kristen, and I read their website and read all their testimonies, like 400 testimonials. Food and supplements for pets, horses, and humans. It's like, what? Sure enough, 100% true. Love it. I'm flying to Memphis this week to go to the Worldview Tube studios. Brandon House is going to allow me to come in to his studios again and film two long-form interviews over this week. My first interview is with Sarah Maccabee. Who is Sarah Maccabee, and why would I interview her? I have known Sarah for about 6 months now. I did a very short interview with her when I was filming my documentary, What is Treason? Sarah is a wife of a January 6th defendant and person that is in jail. Sarah's husband is Colton Maccabee. He is about 36, 37 months of a 70-month sentence for doing nothing. In fact, for helping a police officer. He was a former sheriff in Tennessee. Sheriff. And I'm going to talk to her, and I'm going to have a conversation with her on things that I don't know if she's had questions asked to her about this. Because I want to dive into not only what's happened to her husband, not only the grotesque lies and manipulation of our federal government, the January 6th Commission, which is grotesquely criminal in how they conducted it. Liz Cheney should go to jail. Absolutely should go to jail. But I want to talk to her about, I think, bigger issues for her. I want to talk to her about her marriage. I want to talk to her about what it's like to have your country turn its back on you. I want to know what her dreams are. What are her fears? What is it going to be like when her husband comes home for that first day? Because men change. Women change. Is she praying to God that Donald Trump pardons her husband, which I hear he will? Has she signed on to the $50 billion class action lawsuit against the federal government, which they will all win? There's so much that I want to talk to Sarah about, but it's not something you jump on an interview for 15 minutes and get to. It is a long form interview. And this is what I love. I love that I get to do this show every night and talk about current events, talk about things that interest me, that I believe interest you. But on another way, I can get in a studio, sit down for 2.5, 3 hours and talk to someone about who they are. What's their life about? Because what happened to Sarah and her husband, if you don't think it can happen to you, you're a fool. 1,500 people have been arrested. 1,500. Lives completely shattered, completely upended, financially, emotionally, spiritually. So we're going to talk to Sarah. I'm going to give you a little, I think I have for about a minute. I want to show you who I'll be interviewing in a couple days. If you can play this 1 minute clip of Sarah Maccabee.
As members of Congress and your staff, you play a crucial role in upholding the principles of justice and accountability. According to 18 U.S. Code Section 4, it is a legal requirement that anyone who has knowledge of a felony committed within the jurisdiction of the United States must promptly disclose. Failure to do so may result in fines, imprisonment for a maximum of 3 years, or both. Today, I want to officially state that I am reporting the deaths of Ashley Babbitt, Roseanne Boylan, Kevin Greason, and Benjamin Phillips.
A piece of paper and a pencil and something to write with. We got J6 wife and superstar Sarah Maccabee on here. Sarah.
I'm back with January 6th wife Sarah Maccabee, an advocate for January 6th political prisoners, the wife of Ronald Colton Maccabee. Sarah, you wrote a letter.
We have Sarah Maccabee on today. She is with the Stand in the Gap Foundation, and she is a wife of a J6 political prisoner. We're going to hear her story.
Sarah Maccabee joins us to discuss all this. Sarah, thank you so much. We greatly appreciate your time.
That's who we're going to speak to. That's who we're going to have a long-form interview with. Very strong woman. I respect her. I respect her a great deal. I admire her strength. I admire her courage as a wife, as an American. I'm very excited to speak to her. And you can see this all on worldviewtube.com/JJ. You go join the vault. Today's January 6th. Look at my watch, make sure. Yep. The worst thing to happen in America, per The View, Sunny Hostin, I think her name, who cares? The former slave owner that still wants reparations, and she was a slave master. She calls it worse than World War II, worse than the Holocaust, and worse than, wait for it, slavery. What did January 6th really look like? Can we play this video? This is what it looked like. What's wrong with that? Nothing? You had hundreds of law enforcement officers, plainclothes, in that crowd, which I have no problem with. I think it's very smart to do that. But those law enforcement officers created an environment that a crime committed of entering the federal building, and they participated in it. That's called entrapment. The whole thing is a setup. The whole thing is a joke. Let me just show one more clip why this is important January 6th. This is a woman that's 7 months pregnant and her husband's most likely going to jail for nothing.
I don't think that there's a lot of people in this country that know what it's like to be 7 months pregnant and have their husband at risk of going to jail for doing nothing wrong. We have a right in this country to protest, and it is being violated by people like Merrick Garland, who have the nerve to get up on stage and brag about ruining 1,500 Americans' lives for peacefully protesting or documenting. But living with it every day, that fear hanging over your head, no one relates to it. You don't know what it's like to go to bed and fear a no-knock warrant and just pray that you're not going to reach for your gun thinking it's a home invasion, because they will shoot you. They will kill my husband, they will kill me, and they will kill our baby for protecting ourselves. And that's the fear that we live with every day, that nobody seems to care about. Not even our family. Because they don't want to pay attention. 1,500 Americans' lives have been ruined, and they're not stopping. That's why this election is so important to us. That's why I wish more people would pay attention.
I think that says this all on January 6th. Our government is the enemy.
Thank you for joining me today. Yeah, this is our third day on our subject of the kingdom of the Son of Man. And you know it's our third day because notice I have on a different colored tie. First 2 days were blue and now this one's red. Well, whether it's the same day or it's at least a different lesson. I've been enjoying our study on the kingdom of the Son of Man. And remember, we began this study in the book of Daniel. Daniel was so important because Daniel is the one that really had a glimpse of what was taking place not just in his lifetime, but he had a glimpse of what was taking place in terms of world powers, all the way from Babylon to the Roman Empire. He didn't live that long, obviously. And after the Roman Empire, the toes. And he said in Daniel chapter 2, in the days of these kings. And so he knew that those are future kings. We find out the real dates of those in Revelation chapter 17. Revelation chapter 17, it talks about the fact that 5 kingdoms are fallen. One is right now, that would be Rome. And one is yet